Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to the webinar of IMS Law College Noida on the topic of mind mapping on English vocabulary and in language acquisition. Today we have our guest, Miss Tuba Kizilkan, who is an English teacher and also an NLP practitioner. Mapping is one such thing which helps us understand to retain knowledge, to reproduce it at the right time, and also help us recollect something that is very important. So it will be a privilege to understand the same and the content of the same from an expert who is joining us from Istanbul and has given us her precious time and devoted it to enrich the students regarding the same. We welcome you, Ms. Tuba Kizilkan. It is our honor to have you on this webinar, and we are grateful that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to enlighten the students on this important topic. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you for your welcoming introduction. It is an honor for me to share my knowledge. And as you introduced me, I'm a professional English teacher for 21 years. I've been working for 21 years and have worked in all levels. And I have been a mind mapping instructor for about 2 years and also a speech reading instructor. And I'm a researcher and also an NLP practitioner. And I've been creating many hundreds of mind maps related to any kind of subject, and including English language teaching. So let me start my PowerPoint. So is my voice clear and is my screen seen clearly?
It sounds perfect, ma'am. It sounds perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so in this webinar presentation, I will be sharing, okay, so I will be explaining what a mind map is and how to create one and what are the advantages of mind maps and language acquisition and mind mapping relationship. And I'm going to show some mind maps studying English vocabulary, and of course I have my references. So of course, I have created many mind maps, not a linear way, but through mind maps, of course, as my topic is mind mapping. So in this webinar, I have made a mind map about this webinar, what to present here. So I will be talking about what a mind map is and how to create one. And as I told you, advantages of mind maps and its relation with language acquisition and vocabulary. And let me start here. Sorry. Yeah. So what is a mind map? A mind map is a kind of diagram and which includes tasks and words and pictures, images, concepts, and items. And what is very crucial about a mind map is it's non-linear. It's not linear. It's quite more memorable compared to linear information. It is colorful. It includes many colors, and it is an organized way of data, a highly organized way of information. So while creating a mind map, so I'm giving a shortcut. I'm giving a general idea, then I will be going into details. So how you can create a mind map? First, you should start a central idea, just like my mind map. And it will radiate from main branches into child branches. And it includes some curves, not straight lines, but curves, because the brain likes curves. Actually, what I should emphasize is a mind map actually imitates a brain cell. So brain likes to see itself. That's why, so if you just take a closer look to the shape of a mind map, it resembles a brain cell. So that's why the brain likes mind maps. It has curves, it has keywords, because the brain does not memorize details, some unnecessary words, but keywords, and you should put one word per branch. That's important, not a whole sentence usually, if not very necessary. So the brain is coded with colors. So the brain learns better with colors and also images. And the brain learns clockwise. Have you ever thought why a clock is clockwise? That's because the brain works like that in clockwise. That's why. And what are the advantages of mind maps? Because it's very easy actually. Excuse me. That's because the brain has left and right hemispheres, and the left side likes words and listen, analysis and lines and numbers, and it perceives things holistically. While the right brain likes colors, the rhythm, and likes the details. So left and right brain is involved in a mind map. The both hemispheres are involved. So we can call it the holistic learning. That's one of the advantages and one of the most important advantages with working mind maps in language acquisition and learning new vocabulary within a language. So if you go into detail, so what I'm going to talk about is, so in language acquisition, there are some components like learning vocabulary, and we need to build a clear text. Maybe if we study with a tutor, so we can get a mind map so that we can compare before and during and after the process of studying the language. So we can also use a mind map in organizing thoughts before writing, and then we can compare through the writing process. And also it helps memorizing, and it helps the information to be stored in long-term memory. That's why mind map works so perfectly well. And you can also add some digital resources. You can add links if you work through a digital mind mapping program, a software. Almost all of them let you to use some links, to add some links or videos and podcasts and images, and you can personalize it. You can learn your language learning process personalized. That's why it works so well, because everyone, each of the people, each of the learners learn in a different way, and their brain work in a different way. So when you personalize your learning process, you can learn much better. So I just created a mind map about what is a mind map so that everyone can understand it clearly. What you need is, first, you need keywords with a central idea, central conception, and central theme, central topic, whatever you are trying to learn. And you should use some keywords, and of course, colors. It shouldn't be in black and white, but it should be with colors, like 6 or 7, maybe 8 colors are quite okay. And associations are very important within learning a language and vocabulary. So images help to provide some associations with the words, and so that the learner can understand and even remember better. And also there are some symbols. Excuse me. And Of course, as I mentioned, clockwise, it goes clockwise, okay? It's a nonlinear knowledge. It's a nonlinear shape. It's not a linear way because the brain does not like the linear way. So it goes clockwise and you can just learn the information and memorize it better. Of course, we need curves, but not straight lines, as you can see from my mind map, okay? And we have some main branches, and then you can add baby branches as much as you can. Okay, why mind mapping? Why would you prepare a mind map? Why not just take some ordinary notes that study in a classical, in a traditional way? Why not? We have many reasons for that. So we have so many benefits of working with mind maps. Firstly, it enables a meaningful learning because you can associate some with some certain personalized images actually, and it improves the productivity. You can add so many branches, and you can add some more images or notes even. You can add videos and your own recordings and everything, and it boosts creativity because it involves images and so many things you can add through your learning process, and it stimulates your memory and associations and your thoughts. So you can through the process of your language learning, you can just add some more thoughts, so it can always get larger and larger, and you can enlarge your mind map. It helps you remember the information through your studying, and it helps you recall information, and also helps you memorize vocabulary in a much better way compared to traditional ways. And of course, it's a fun way. So the brain loves learning in a fun way. Not when it gets bored, it does not it does not want to learn. And learning a language actually requires having fun. Otherwise, you wouldn't like to learn it. You wouldn't just go on the process. Just you probably would like to stop it and stop learning the language or vocabulary or whatever you're trying to learn. So it allows you to organize your time. It's a great time saver, I can say. Also, what I like about the mind mapping very much, it just allows you to brainstorm, which is a key factor, is a key word for learning and encouraging your curiosity and just keeping you on the way to learn a new language. And it promotes comprehension. So it helps you comprehend the language, comprehend the vocabulary, whatever you are trying to learn, not only memorizing it, but also comprehend it. So as you see, this is a linear way of the information. So what I was presenting was the mind mapping way of it, and this is the linear way. So we can just say that again just to summarize it, it's a structure, and it includes some triggers to grasp a lot of information. So you are trying to learn some grammar rules within a new language, and maybe you have a 300 pages book in your hands, a grammar book, and you can actually prepare a mind map. In 2 or 3 pages, you can include the 300, 400 pages. So it's amazingly a very time saver and shows you the bigger picture. That's very important. And it also helps you keep up to date and enhance skills like brainstorming. And you can even make presentation and teach whatever you're learning to another person. Actually, you can share your work, your study with somebody else. And it stimulates creative thinking and generate new ideas. And it connects all the details together. And you can visualize and classify the information. So classifying is very important within language learning process. You should classify the information when learning a new language, and it also enables you to analyze and collect the data. So as you learn more, you can even add more and more data to your mind map. And it doesn't matter if you're using a digital mind map software, or if you're just drawing a handmade mind map. It's okay. Both is okay for you, whichever you want, you just prefer. It's up to you. And it also helps you understand the learning material, and it also allows people to work collaboratively. Okay, so let's go into details and how can you use a mind map through language acquisition. So firstly, you can use it in studying grammar. It works perfectly well. So if you especially have to deal with complex grammar concepts, whichever, I don't know, you may try to learn Arabic or Finnish or Hindu, or I don't know, maybe Portuguese, or I don't know, whatever language you're trying to learn. So there might be some complex grammar concepts. So when we prepare a mind map, then we get these items into broken ones, which are even simpler and more simple and related to each other. And so we associate them with images, which helps you remember, especially some funny, some related, or it might just associate, it might just remind you something else totally seems nonsense. It's okay as long as it makes you help remember the word or grammar point. So it just allows you to compare and summarize the grammar knowledge, and also it just helps brain remember better because it is just organized, because the brain likes it in an organized way, not in a non-organized in a loose way. So in building vocabulary, we usually use one-word definitions, and you can include the synonyms, the antonyms, and also the parts of speech. And you can also include translations, some translations in your native language. And you can also add some examples and useful links, and also a spelling. So you can add anything related to vocabulary. And note-taking while studying, if you're just tutoring, or if you're at a school, or if you're just studying by yourself, trying to learn an online new language. So it just helps you to write it in short phrases. So it's just much more effective with simple words. And the nonlinear notes makes people harder to memorize. The brain does not like the linear notes. But when you just write the keywords, then it actually helps you memorize in a better way. And it's a great time saver. Why? Because you don't need to write the whole sentences, but you just write a central idea, the vocabulary topic probably, which I'm going to show you soon, some examples, so that you can just understand how you can use them in your own language learning process. And it's actually a great overview of what you have been learning in terms of vocabulary and grammar. So if you work with tutors, then a mind map acts like an agenda, actually, and also a visual tool to aid listening comprehension. So in all skills related to language learning, you can just use it. It does not matter if you're just studying the reading part, or listening, or grammar, or vocabulary, or speaking. You can use a mind map through all the skills within a language. And it just gives you a quick review, actually, learning any new language that came up to you. So, any questions so far?
Okay, anybody who has a question may raise their hands.
Okay, so let me show you some examples which I've created my own while teaching, of course. So I'm using the mind maps very practically, very actively, very often within my teaching process. For example, this is one of the examples that if you're, for example, studying verbs followed by gerunds, where maybe you're just trying to learn English, and here is a map with the keywords, and you can also add some images, and you can add some links here, YouTube links, or your own words, own notes, own recordings, and everything related to gerunds, especially when you use a program. Mine is the iMind map, actually. So I find this software very practically, but there are so many ones, even free ones, that you can use and easily create mind maps. And there are so many templates within the digital softwares. So you can use, even you don't have to create one, but you can use the templates. For example, another one I've created, it's about a verb in all tenses. As you can see, I've written keywords like present, past, will feature, and going to feature, and I've added some subtitles like simple present and present continuous and present perfect and present perfect continuous, so on. And I have given some examples, and you can even add more information, more details and translation, words, examples, and so on. It's all up to you. And yes, as you can see, I have used different colors in each of them. I've used some images, just help me remember that information, some symbols maybe, some, visuals. This is another example that I've created. It's for, so while I was teaching restaurant vocabulary in a spoken class, I've used this one. And my students really like it a lot. For example, you're trying to remember, you're trying to learn a specific vocabulary, like airports or a food vocabulary or whatever you're trying to learn, or transportation or money vocabulary. So you can just add the words like that, and you can also add the synonyms, the antonyms, and translation, and so on. Another example that I created is about shopping vocabulary. As you can see, I have some nice images around here. You can choose your own images, actually. It's all up to you. And while preparing a mind map, a handmade one, you can just draw whatever you want. It's all up to you. That's another one. That's telephone phrasal verbs. So there is a central image here. It's not even words. So the images are quite important. The brain likes the images, actually. So I have added some. This one is actually taken from the Bigger Plate, the international mind mapping platform, which I also attribute a lot. So you can just add some box branches. It doesn't have to be only keyword. You can just add some box branches. It's also available in most of the digital softwares, and you can also write like in box branches. It's okay. And I have added some academic research here. For example, this one is from Wilson, Copeland, Salz, and Gottfriedson. It says, our preliminary study shows evidence that suggests the use of mind maps to teach science content may have significant implications in language learning environments. The variety and ease of note-taking, the reduction of cognitive load, and the ability to communicate knowledge without filler words was particularly useful to our students. And our findings are in tandem with those of other researchers who have had similar experiences, albeit sometimes teaching in different content areas. And suggest that chunking, which is facilitated by mind maps, helps in main idea selection and relation of ideas, reduces the amount of information for processing, and so increases the capacity of mental working memory, which creates more space for critical thinking. And another complementary aspect of using mind maps is in the classes that they worked was freedom of individual expression and creativity, which also means a lot in language learning, I think, as a professional language teacher for almost 21 years. So creativity is important. That was afforded to the students, which we believe was instrumental in stimulating students' interest and hence increased engagement. And this was evident in the variety of styles, the use of color, and even icons inserted in the mind maps. And this is another feature that is useful in teaching Emirati students and who are by nature artistic and creative. And this helps students to feel relaxed, creating a fertile environment for learning to take place, and it also allows for diverse learning styles and creativity within a classroom. Yes, and my presentation is over. I hope that it helped the attendants to have an idea through language acquisition and vocabulary. And these are my references. Yes. So I would happily answer any questions if there are some.
Okay, participants, if there are any questions, please raise them. Okay, I think Tuba, the mind mapping technique that you told us, I think it will help students not just in language learning, but also in learning other subjects, right? For example, in law subjects where a lot of ratification is involved, mind mapping will help them.
Absolutely. You can use mind maps not only language learning, and actually you can use it in, for example, some academic research and writing skills, writing an article, even just within a family, just sharing chores and brainstorming and any kind of thing, even for your daily routines. And any kind of thing you can use a mind map actually. So many things in your daily life.
Indeed, indeed. So there's one question. Arya, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the difference between concept mapping and mind mapping.
Yeah, actually, concept map is a general, maybe you can say general, title for mind mapping. So mind mapping is even more specific. So you can also say concept mapping is okay, quite okay. But mind mapping should include the keywords and the images and the colors and some curved lines. So maybe that's a little difference between concept mapping. So maybe concept mapping does not necessarily include all the details. So there are so many plain maps which only include some information, no images, but just sentences, the boxes. But a mind map usually involves these components, just as I mentioned. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, Tuba, for that. So Arya, you can go ahead with a vote of thanks, calling for vote of thanks.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful webinar. also as a student myself, when I gave my 10th class exams, it was a very big deal for me to learn concepts, because we have to learn each and every word because it's important. And at that time I was in a difficult situation. It was a difficult situation for me to understand and how should I memorize it. So at that point, when I was preparing for it, I opted for the method of mind mapping, which was really helpful and it was really effective. Even now, if somebody asks me about anything regarding my 10th standard, I still remember it because of the mind map. As we all know, our brains are better at visualizing things, and it, like, our brain works in a way that if we see anything which is colorful or very interesting, we would remember it very easily. So if we read it and if we watch it, there is a difference. In the same way, I opted for mind mapping and it was really, really, really effective. So I really enjoyed your webinar and it was really helpful. And from a student's point of view, I would suggest each and every student, not only student, even adults or employees, they can also apply it in their lives so that they could memorize it and it would be easy for them to understand. Now, I would like to call Professor Hina for vote of thanks.
Yes, good evening everyone. I, Hina Singh, on behalf of IMS Law College Noida, would like to thank honorable guest speaker of today's evening, Miss Tuba Kilkissan. Ma'am,
Yeah.
yes, Kizilkan. Ma'am has enlightened us with her great knowledge and has made today's session a very enlightening and enriching experience for all of us here today. Thanks, ma'am. Secondly, I would like to thank Honorable Dr. Manju Gupta, ma'am, Dean Academics, IMS Noida, Professor Shruti Srivastava, ma'am, moderator of today's session. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Bhavna Arora, Program Coordinator, IMS Law Department. I would like to thank Professor Govind Goel, sir, who has organized this event. Thank you, sir. And Arya Tandon, thanks for anchoring this session, and all the faculty members and technical staff of IMS Noida. And lastly, to all the participants who have participated in this session. I hope this session is a very enlightening and fruitful for all of us here today. Thanks. Thank you all.
So
Thank you for having me here. And Professor Shruti Srivastava, who is the coordinator, I think, and you as a host, and all the staff who just contributed here, and all the attendants. Thank you for asking the questions and attending this webinar, and giving me the opportunity to share my information, my experience here. So thank you all.
yeah, thank you so much, Tuba. It was a very great experience and webinar, and we hope that you come again with something more interesting, and we will certainly be joining it again. Thank you so much. And so that brings
you
us
too.
to an end of this webinar. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you.